Never found a love like this. There it is. I've never found a love like this.
Hello everybody, welcome back to E20 Zone TV. It's Friday, it's preview day, and we're going to the one place where we never beat this team ever, and that is Brighton and Hove Albion. To my right is Tommy, all the way from Ireland. He's going to be with me today to discuss this. Tommy, how are you doing, man?
Doing good now, doing good. Very disappointed still about Wednesday night. Really disappointed with that. We that was there for the taking, really, and we West Hammed it, didn't we?
100%, mate. We did. It's just the same old, same old. But obviously, we lick our wounds. We're going to Brighton tomorrow, 3 o'clock kickoff, which is a rarity at West Ham. It's usually like Sunday or, do you know what I mean, or a Saturday evening recently. So, Tommy, how do we go about getting something at Brighton, a team that we've never beaten in the Premier League?
It's going to be tough, to be honest. It's going to be tough. They're a very good side. They've got a very good manager, well drilled. Some really, really good players, which I'm sure we'll talk about too. I think we've got to be brave when we go up there. I really do. Moyes can't revert back to 3 centre backs and wing backs just because we conceded 3 on Wednesday. That's my worry. It'll say, geez, flat back 4 and we conceded 3 goals and we were shaky defensively at the end. And I just don't want him to revert to type when we go up there. But if he sticks with say 4-2-3-1, which is essentially what we've been playing with Souček advanced, then we'll have a real chance if we put a performance in. Because we've got the players to do it. I think the confidence of the players is probably up a bit as well now. And Brighton are a good side, so if we're at it, I mean, there's a possibility there that we could go and win there. Yeah.
I agree. I really, really do. I'm going to start with this topic though. Will Moyes stick with the 4-3-3? For me personally, he has to. I think if he goes to another system and we don't get a result in Brighton on Saturday night, then I think he's done it for me completely. Because it's the most insulting thing going. I think the last 2 games since we played 4-3-3, we've looked better in attack, a lot better. We're making chances. I know you can say it's Forest. You can say Forest last week, and you can say Manchester United. But Man United, if we had a striker who knew how to put the ball in the back of the net, we would have been 2-0 up, if not 3-0 up, by the time they scored their first goal. So, what do you think, Tommy, in regard to that? Will Moyes stick with the 4-3-3?
Yeah, I think he will. Like you say, we knocked 4 past Forest, albeit they're the probably worst team away from home, and they were absolutely woeful. But nonetheless, 4 goals is 4 goals in the Premier League, and it's been a long time since we did that. And I think even when you look at Wednesday, despite the fact that we lost, I mean, I don't think our loss was anything to do with the formation. I think that formation put us in a position to win that game. We did create openings and really proper chances. Unfortunately, Antonio was really profligate in front of goal. He's just not a finisher, and if he, one-on-one, I mean, he should have buried that. Had we had someone up there who could have buried that, or if he squares the other one for Benny, like you say, it could be 3-0 up, at Old Trafford. And even 3 goals we conceded, I mean, it wasn't a formation issue. It was just errors, individual errors. I mean, Aguero just heading into his own net. And then, of course, his attempts at clearances were horrible, which cost us goals as well. And it wasn't the formation that was the problem. The formation won us the Forest game and put us in a really good position to beat Man United at Old Trafford in the Cup. So hopefully he'll see it that way and stick with the formation, because we've certainly looked a lot better since we switched to that formation.
100%, mate. 100%. I've been calling for 4-3-3 for a long time. People in the chat, who they know who they are, they've been with me on this for a long time. I've said this for about the last 6-7 months about 4-3-3. This season, I said West Ham need to play 4-3-3. If West Ham play 4-3-3 for the range of the season, we'd be fine. I just don't see this 3-4-3 situation with possession-based game when West Ham just can't hold the ball for a certain amount of time before giving it away. Do you know what I mean? When West Ham go forward in a 4-3-3, I like it because you've got two inside forwards in Ben Rama and Bowen who can support the striker. I think that's the first thing. I think when we get Maxwell Cornet fit, firing and back in this side, I think he's a massive asset to this system if we play 4-3-3. Do I think Moyes will change the system? I hope not. But I'm not convinced because you know what he's like. He likes to match up with teams, especially going away from home. So I'm not too sure. If he does change system, Tommy, and it don't work, he's going to be in the massive firing line, isn't he, for this all day long?
Yeah, if he reverts back to defensive again and we're struggling to create anything and I don't, get only like one or two shots on target, then, that would be baffling. People would be saying, well, what the hell are you doing? We were playing well, the way we were. We were finally starting to create opportunities and score some goals, and you revert back to the system that wasn't working, where we can't create anything. And he'd be making a rod for his own back, I think, if he reverted back to the wing-back system. I don't particularly like it, that system. I don't think it works for us. Certainly not the way he sets us up to play it. So no, I think there would be a lot of alarm among West Ham fans at 2:00 tomorrow if we see a wing-back system. But I don't think he will. But like I say, he'd be making a rod for his own back if he did that, and we lost and couldn't create doing it, and that's the danger. So I don't think he can get away with doing that unless he goes there and we play well and get a result. But there's no evidence to suggest that would happen if he does that. So I think he's much better off just sticking with what's working at the moment.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't have a silly reaction to what happened at Old Trafford.
Yeah. I thought at Old Trafford for 70 minutes of the game, I thought it was all right. I really did. Like, I see people. Listen, I'm the most Moyes out person going with you. Right? I don't want Moyes here anymore. I think Moyes should leave at the end of the season, if not as soon as possible. But I will give him some credit. On Wednesday, he went 4-3-3. He went attacking. Like, I've never seen West Ham go 4-3-3 against any top six side for a long, long time. So you've got to give him some credit, even if you don't like the geezer. You still got to give him, when he does something good, you've got to respect it, and when he does something bad, you got to also say it. So if he does revert back to type against Brighton, then he's, like you say, he's making a rod massively for his own back all day long. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to move on though to this. How do West Ham stop Mitoma and Brighton, Tommy? That Mitoma lad, left winger, is frighteningly good. Got lots of pace. He's going to be on the left-hand side. He's going to be up against either Ben Johnson or Cathal, whoever's fit. How do we stop him and Brighton, mate?
I think bravery. I think I really like it when we press high. I think that makes it more difficult for people. I don't want to see us kind of concede territory and possession. Now, Brighton are a possession-based team, and if you let them have the ball and let them knock it about, they're very good. Their interplay is really good. Their movement off the ball is really good, and they'll get lots of ball to the likes of Mitoma. I think we have to be brave. I think we have to push up on them and get in their faces at the back, especially on goal kicks and stuff like that. We've got to push up, and obviously our work rate will be very important as well. So every pass they make, or as much as possible, should be made under duress from one of our players, because they'll make more mistakes. So I think the way to limit Mitoma is to limit the amount of good ball that gets up to him. So certainly I would be looking to use a high press, be high energy, just knock them off their stride, make them misplace some passes, get those tackles in, be in their face. So I think we have to start out that way and get a foothold in the game early and quickly and show some intent. And you can knock them off their stride. Look, they're a very good side. They've got very good players. They're having a really good season. but they're also beatable. You know, they're not Man City. You know, so they're not Arsenal. So I think just be brave and get up in their faces, to be honest, and put if the work is there, if the work rate is there, we can limit the amount of damage that those kind of players like Mitoma can do.
Yeah, I agree. I totally 100% agree. I think the right hand side is going to be massive for us in this game. The right back situation is a problem at the minute. I looked at Ben the other day against Manchester United, and I was like, not for me, not for me. Like we've done shows before in the past, and we've talked about Ben Johnson, and for me, I think he's massively overhyped, right? And like people think he's better than what he actually is. I thought he's not all that. I would like Kufal in this game, but whether or not he's fit enough to play this game, and could he handle Mitoma for 90 minutes, I don't think he could. So we've got a bit of a problem on that right-hand side. I don't know how we're going to go around it. How would you go around it on that right-hand side?
Yeah, I think, look, Bowen's going to have to work his ass off in this game. He's going to have to be getting back. When they're in possession, Bowen's going to have to drop in and kind of double up as often as possible on Mitoma and just help out, whether it's Sofel or Johnson. I think Bowen's just going to help out as often as he can back there, double up on him a bit and just try to restrict him, try and force him to play the ball backwards, turn him back, you know, away from goal as often as possible. What you don't want is Mitoma receiving a pass in, you know, like midfield area and being able to run at Sofel or Johnson. That's not what we want. So Bowen's going to have to be getting back there with him, harrying him. Bowen, like when they have the ball, Bowen is going to have to start marking Mitoma in midfield. He's going to have to get back there and get on him in the hope that you can prevent the original pass even getting to him in space. You know, so I think he can be handled, but it's going to take an effort from the right back, whoever it is, and Bowen working really hard just to limit his influence on the game.
I agree. I think what we've got to do is we've got to press on this geezer straight away before he gets into the box. I've noticed when he gets in the box, he's got quick feet and he's dangerous. Also, their midfield's going to be interesting and all. If they play Caicedo and McAllister against Rice, Paqueta, that will be interesting. That'll
be a battle. Yeah, that'll be really good.
That will be good, and obviously that's why I want West Ham to play with a 3 rather than a 2. I think if West Ham try and go 3-4-3 in this, I just don't think it's going to work. So I do like the 3 in midfield of Souček, Rice, and Paqueta. Are you convinced on that, or do you think Souček is, even though he's improved, do you think he's still a problem?
I do, in the sense that the position he plays at the moment more advanced. I think it's certainly helped his performances, and he does a lot of good work. Obviously, you know, you'll always get work rate from Souček. He's a very honest player. But the thing for me is, I think we can improve actually on that position. As good as, you know, as well as Souček's been playing, he just doesn't hurt opponents enough for me. You know, when he's on the ball, the places he's picking up the ball in those advanced positions now, he's every time basically he's just going to look for the nearest player and just pop the ball after him. You know, he's not able to really affect opponents defensively enough for me. I would actually tweak it. I like the advanced role there. I think Paqueta and Rice are perfectly able to take care of business in midfield. I think them up against, like you say, McAllister and Caicedo, I think that would be a really great battle. But I think they're up for it. You know, I think they're up for it. Again, I don't want to see us going into these games being terrified of every bloody body. You know what I mean? Like, I know they're very good players, but so are Paqueta and Rice. And I'm sure, you know, De Zerbi is looking at West Ham and thinking, right, okay, you know, Paqueta and Rice obviously are very, very strong in there. So, you know, he'll be worried about us too. So I think if we're going to have our third midfielder being advanced like that, you may as well just go ahead and play the 4-2-3-1, because that's essentially what Souček's doing anyway. So I would love to see someone like Scamacca come in and play in that number 10 role behind Ings, play like a Teddy Sheringham role in behind Ings. Because from what I've seen from Scamacca Like, he should be perfectly capable of playing in that role. He's also very tall. So if the ball does go up there, like Souček, he should be very capable of getting up and winning some headers. He should be very capable of holding up the ball if it comes to feet or to chest, the same way that Souček would. The difference being he's far more mobile. He's got a very good range of passing from what I've seen. You know, he's really good at passing the ball. His vision awareness seems really good, and he can finish. You know, if he can get turned or 1-2 in and around the box somewhere, even 20 yards from goal, he's got a shot on him. I think if we had someone like Skamaka playing that Teddy Sheringham role in the 10 behind Ings, I think that could really, really add to us, because unlike Souček, he will really trouble defences with his ability.
Do you know what? I never really thought of it like that. But when you've sort of just said it, and I was just sitting here sort of going through it in the old brain, valid point, mate. Valid point. Like, if he can get the ball from outside the box, and then what it is, you've got Ings obviously more advanced. The only problem is with that is that the midfield is massive in this game. Really is massive. Like, I think it's the battle of the midfields. I think if we can overpower them in midfield, I think we've got a great chance. I do feel certain positions for West Ham are a bit of a problem. If you play a 4-2-3-1 at West Ham, Ben Rama's no good in that system. I've always said that. He's too wide. He's too, like, the triangles and all that. It just doesn't work. And he can't cross a ball to save his life. And that's coming from me. So, basically, I do like the 4-3-3, but I do think we've got to be a bit more, what's the word? We've got to be a bit more, like, inwards rather than sort of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? And
so you'd rather, in this game, you'd rather have a genuine 3 in midfield, so Souček not getting advanced like he has been in recent games, just sitting back with Paqueta and Rice. You mean, is that?
Yeah, for me, I would do that. Simple fact of the matter is that their midfield's pretty decent, our midfield's pretty decent, and I think it's the battle of the midfields. I think if you can get balls over the top for Bowen, Ings, Benny, I think we've got a chance. I really do. Like, I really do think that we've got a chance of doing something. Do you know what I'm saying? I think with Skamaka, I'm going to be honest, he looks lost at the minute at West Ham. Really does. Like, no, he hasn't played no games. I see him come on as a sub the other day, and he just looks a shadow of himself. I think what we need to do is get him to Iron Appa, have a party, get him on the pitch, let him score some goals, and then that might bring his confidence back or whatnot. But I think in this game, I think the midfield is massive. I really do. I'm going to move on, though, Tommy, to the starting 11. And I just want you to sort of reel out that you're starting 11. Obviously, Areola's going to start because Fabianski's out. And we called for Areola for a long time. But I must admit, on Wednesday, I was quite shocked at some of the mistakes he made. But Areola in goal.
I think he'll be okay when he gets going games. He'll build up an understanding with the players in front of him, and he just hasn't played. You know what I mean? He just got kind of chucked in. So I think he'll be fine once he's settled in the position for a couple of games.
Yeah, I agree on that. Left back for you?
Emerson. Has to be Emerson. I thought, really good. I mean, the worry, the big question over him was, okay, we know now that he can play really well as a wing back, but can he play well as an orthodox left back? I think he answered that question. He answered that question now. I think Emerson can play very well for us as an orthodox left back, and he's miles ahead of Cresswell, just miles ahead. And I think also he's better than Ben Johnson. So 100% Emerson for me left back.
I agree. 100%. I think the centre halves will take care of themselves. I think it'll be a Gued and a Bonner because there is no one else. If Zuma is back, then great. I would go Zuma and a Gued and let a Bonner sit out. Even though Gued hasn't had a great few games, Gued's a top player. I think people are easy to criticise him when he has a bad game, but they don't forget the times where he's actually saved us points, especially Newcastle away this year when if it weren't for his tackle, we would have lost that game and all. So, if Zuma's back, it'll be Zuma and Aguerd. If not, a Bonner and Aguerd. Right back for you.
Sofel, if he's available. and if not, it'll just have to be Johnson.
See, people say about Kerr at right back. It's an hard one with me because I don't really mind him at right back. I don't think he sort of does a threat, and he will slow people down. He's got the pace to get back. Ben Johnson, to me, I'm not convinced yet. I really am not. Cafal, he's improved. He massively has, but the pace factor of Cafal is a problem also. When he's up against pace, he gets a bit exposed. So if you've got a younger, fitter, fresher player who's just going to run past him all the time, he's going to either bring him down or he's going to just get completely done. Do you know what I'm saying? For me,
unfortunately, at right back, there's no good answer to this question. It's kind of it's kind of pick your poison. But I mean, I just think Sofel of the three is probably the most reliable that we have at the moment. The one I trust the most is probably Sofel over Johnson and Kerr in that position.
Yeah, I agree, mate. Before I move on to the midfield, Steve Bell has just donated $4.99. Stevie, thank you very much, mate. I really do appreciate it. You're helping us become bigger and better on this channel, and your donations always are appreciated, mate. Hi, lads. I'm going tomorrow. Just hope he don't set up to defend. If we invite him onto us, we're asking for trouble. I totally agree with you, Steve. I really do, mate. Let's go midfield.
I agree with the centre backs, by the way. Unless Zuma's fit, which I don't think he will be, then it'll be Aguerd and Oggy.
Yeah, I agree, mate. Well, let's go midfield now. Declan Rice plays, because he always does. Lucas Paqueta plays. Souček, I think, will play in this game. I really do. I think he's improved. I think he's got a lot better over the last 3 games. I think West Ham are using him in a way that he's benefiting us more than him being a hindrance. If you give him the ball and ask him to play it to feet all the time, then he's going to be a problem. But the balls that he's knocking on and him pushing further up the pitch is better. Go on, mate.
So, given that you want to play three kind of more deep-lying midfielders, do you really want the third one to be Souček? I mean, he hasn't done well in that position.
Personally, for me, if someone said to me right now, you're picking the side, and who would be your final midfielder, it would be Pablo Fornals.
That would make more sense, given the way you want to approach it tactically. I think Fornals makes more sense.
Yeah, so, obviously, Souček's been brilliant, but if someone said to me right now, Pablo Fornals as your third midfielder, so you got Fornals, Rice, Paqueta, I would take that all day long, because I like Pablo, not in an attacking sense, but as a industrial midfielder that I've always said, I think he gets about the pitch, he gets stuck in, and he's a bit like Paqueta, but Paqueta's a bit more advanced than him, if that makes sense. In regards of passing the ball and getting out of trouble and things like that. So it would be Fornals for me, but I do think Souček's going to start in this game. So there's no two.
Souček will certainly start. I mean, if I was going tactically the way you are, with wanting to kind of get a foothold in midfield, I'd be kind of thinking, between Fornals and Downs, one of those two. I like Downs a lot, actually, if I'm honest. I'd be seriously tempted to play Downs in there. Really good, but him and Fornals are both very hard working and really good passers of the ball. So either or would be fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously, in mine, I've just got the two. I've got Rice and Paqueta in there.
So, who's your final 3 for you?
Well, my third would be, as I say, Scamacca in the 10 role. I would play the 4-2-3-1. So I'd have obviously Benny on the left, Scamacca as the 10, Bowen on the right, and then obviously Ings up top as the 9. That would be my kind of front 4. So there'd be no isolation or anything like that. But I understand completely what you're saying tactically about McAllister and Caicedo, but I think when we're pressing from the front, we would have kind of Rice and Paqueta pressed up on Caicedo and McAllister, and I would kind of trust them to do the job for me in there, because I think we've got a really strong midfield as well. And I'd say to them, look, I'm just trusting you guys to go head to head with these two and to put in a performance for us,
Yeah. Yeah, it's an hard one really because
It is, yeah.
like when you do like for me, my three would be obviously Bowen, Ings, and Ben Rama. The reason why I would pick them three before I sort of move on is that they're inside forwards. They're like literally Ings can literally stay in the centre of the goal of the 18-yard box. That's where we want him to be. Like Danny Ings is not going to score screamers from outside the box or low drives or anything like that. But if he's in the 18-yard box, yeah, Skamaka, he might do, but I know Danny Ings probably won't. So I just want our team to be more proactive rather than just defending all the time and just sitting there and like it's like we're waiting for the team, like the opposition, to make a mistake before we attack, sort of thing. So yeah, like I would like to see that. The Skamaka one, I've never really thought of it like that, but it ain't a bad shout because then you've got a striker there who also can make them runs. So if things don't make the run, he does make them run. So I want to see us be more proactive against Brighton.
Yeah,
but we have.
I just thought about I just thought about the positions, some of the positions that Souček is getting possession in.
Yeah,
outside the box. I was just kept watching it and thinking, Souček's never going to hurt anybody there, getting the ball. Even though he's playing well, he's working hard. He's making a nuisance of himself, and he is getting passes in advanced positions. But I just kept thinking to myself, if we could get Skamaka in possession in those positions, he's got a really good pass on him. He really does.
Yeah.
He's a really good passer of a ball. Plus, he's got that killer instinct. He can hit a ball from 25 yards, no problem. 20 yards and trouble the keeper, maybe score. And he can make those runs as well that Souček wouldn't even dream about making. Once he passes the ball off, do you know what I mean? And get in behind and just stretch them defensively. And if he can strike up an understanding, with Ings, then that could be another feather in our cap. I'm just still so kind of traumatized all season from our lack of ability to create and score goals, and I just would love to try out Skamaka in a position like that, and where Souček has possession, just to get him on the ball in those positions and see how what he can do with it.
See what it is. To the system you're saying, before I get your predictions, it's basically like a 4-4-2, 4-2-4 sort of system. Like when you look at Ben Rama, Bowen, Skamaka, Ings, you can rotate that. As in, like, if we're defending, we can sit back and go 4-4-2. If we're going forward, we've got it's a 4-2-4 system. So, like, it works both ways. I do agree, mate. Like, I really do. I can't stress enough how much I do not ever want to see 5 at the back or this crap again. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Because it's just painful viewing, and like it just proves it over the last 2 games. And people will use the Nottingham Forest game and go, yeah, but it's only Nottingham Forest. I can guarantee you, West Ham play 4-3-3. They would have more shots on target against Brighton than they have done in X amount of games that they've played. Do you know what I'm saying? And look at the chances that we had at Old Trafford on Wednesday. Like West Ham would never have done that in a 5 at the back or 3-4-3. So is what it is. Tommy, it's predictions time, my friend. Give me your prediction of how it's going to go down on the South Coast Saturday afternoon, and give me your scoreline.
I do think Moyes will stick with the formation. I think he'll largely stick with the same personnel, depending on who's available. Like I say, I don't think Zuma will be available. Sofal is up in the air. Obviously, Ings will come in for Antonio. So I think if we do that and we stay positive and we keep closing them down, I think this is going to be a really good contest, actually, on tomorrow. I think it's going to be a really good contest between 2 teams who are playing well. And it's going to be very, very close. Obviously, it's a hard one to call. They've got a lot of quality. They've got some players that I really like. I mean, Lewis Dunk, I think centre-back, I think is a really good player. I've liked him for a long time. As you say, in midfield, they've got Caicedo and McAllister. They've got Mitoma. They've got young Evan Ferguson, up top, who looks a really decent player.
Good player.
And Solly March is having a really good season. He can cause problems. So they've got a lot that can worry us. But I think we've got enough about us now that we can really trouble them as well. You know, they lost to Fulham. You know, so look, they're beatable. I think it's going to be a great contest. I do think there's going to be goals in it. It's a very hard one to call. It really is one of those games where no result will surprise you. You know, if either team wins it narrowly or it ends in a score draw, just no surprises really in the game. It's a tough one to call, but our luck's got to change against them sometime. It's bloody got to. Like we can't keep bloody losing to this lot. So I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna be positive that we'll maybe finally get a bit of luck against them or whatever and turn them over. I think maybe tomorrow will be the day. I think maybe we're coming into form at the right time. Moyes got the formation right. I think we'll see Emerson again left back, which I like. Emerson, I think one of the things I'm really like is that Emerson, Benrahma and Paqueta seem to be doing really great work down that left-hand side. They seem to really all understand each other. And I think that's where our danger will come from again tomorrow. I think it'll be those three working together down that left-hand side. I think we'll cause real problems for Brighton down that left-hand side. So I'm going to be positive. Like I said, I think there's going to be goals. We are creating now. And with Danny Ings up there, I'm going to go mad. I think we're going to win 3-2.
Get your money on that, people. 3-2.
Yeah, I do. I really think there's going to be goals tomorrow. I really do.
Yeah. I'm not agreeing with the 3-2, but if West Ham play 4-3-3 or a attacking formation, West Ham win this game. I'll tell you why I think that. I think West Ham are slowly turning a little bit of a tide, yeah? And I know people might say don't get too carried away, but at Manchester United the other day, I know we lost the game, but I learned quite a lot from watching that game. West Ham were more attacking, more free-flowing, they're working together, they're getting further up the pitch. The press the other day was superb, right? Yeah. Pressing Manchester United, hurrying this team, everything, right? If West Ham go to Brighton and play 4-3-3, we can win this game. Yeah. I'm actually going to say 2-1 to West Ham. I think West Ham are going to come out of this game and surprise a lot of people. Listen, I'm Moyes out as much as the next man, yeah? But I will give him some credit. He's took his stubborn approach away and he's turned around and said, right, I've got to change this system. I've got attacking players. Let's go for it now. Like take the handbrake off. And I think ever since what Graham Souness said the other week at Spurs away, he said it seems like West Ham are literally playing like with an handbrake on and they're just not going forward. I think you're going to see something different. I could be completely wrong. I could be sitting here tomorrow night and West Ham have lost the game. I could say that. But if West Ham go for it and attack, West Ham will score goals. Right? We have goals in our side. We just need to unlock the goals. And I think we're getting there close. But we will see. So I'm going to say 2-1 to West Ham. I think Danny Ings will silence a few doubters because a lot of people thought he weren't all that. So, do you know what I'm saying? Anything else that you want to add, Tommy, before we go? Anything you want to discuss? Anything at all? I'll tell you what I want to discuss with you, Tommy, because while I've got you on here, I haven't spoke to you for this week. Give me your thoughts on what Roy Keane said about Declan Rice, one of your fellow Irishmen. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think Roy is still a bit salty because he switched from us to England. But no, look, I don't listen to people like Roy Keane and all these and bloody Graham Souness talking about Rice. They ain't got a clue. Yeah. They don't listen. These are not people who watch West Ham very closely. They just don't. Yeah. They don't watch West Ham 90 minutes of West Ham every week in the Premier League. They just don't do it. They see Declan Rice play every once in a while. Like I'll bet you, Graham Souness, when we have a Super Sunday, he probably doesn't watch a lot of the Super Sunday games. Even probably doesn't bother. He's got other things to do. Roy Keane too. He's probably off walking his dog. You know. Yeah. So you know, I don't really listen to them. I don't care what they think. To be completely honest, we know what we've got in Declan Rice. We've seen him blossom, you know, from an 18-year-old given his debut by Bilic, wasn't it? And we've seen him grow and blossom and get better and better and better. And you know, I don't listen to pundits who've watched a couple of West Ham games and decided he's not good enough. It cracks me up. They keep going on about goals and assists, and it's like, what do you think he does? Like, what do you think he's not a number 10? What are you talking about?
No.
He's not. He doesn't play up there. His job
Roy
is
Keane
not.
didn't do that. Roy Keane was not known for like assists and like scoring loads and loads of goals.
No, and I'd love to know. Like, I'd love to know. I'd love to know what are the stats for someone like Kante at Chelsea, since he went to Chelsea for goals and assists. How many does he average assists and goals per season? It's probably not very high at all. It's not Kante's job. He's not there to provide ammunition to the strikers. He's, you know, it's ridiculous. He's an absolutely brilliant footballer, Declan Rice. And the problem is, he will, as long as he's playing at West Ham, he'll never get the credit he deserves. You know, he won't get the credit he deserves. You know, let's say he goes to Arsenal this summer, and then next season he's tearing it up in the Premier League for Arsenal, tearing it up in the Champions League, being a brilliant player for them. All of a sudden, then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, he's brilliant, Rice, isn't he?"
Yeah.
So I don't listen to him. They're soon as and you know, Keane and look, I don't mind Roy Keane. He speaks his mind, and that's fair enough. I don't have no hate towards any of them. I just disagree. I don't think they really know what they're talking about when it comes to Rice.
Let me ask this question before we wrap it up. What is it? Let me phrase this right. What do you expect West Ham to get for Declan Rice, and what do you think Declan Rice will eventually go for?
I think we will get around the 100 million. This 120 plus add-ons, I think, is never happening.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the club know that as well. I think this is, you know, you start high, right? Whenever you're negotiating, you start high. And then maybe the bid comes in at Arsenal thinking, fucking 120 plus is a bit rich. Maybe Arsenal then come in at 90. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you come back and say, oh no, 90 is not going to cut it. Or you're going to have to go to the 100. Going to have to go to the 100. And then maybe they say, oh, go on then, stump up the 100. And we take 100 mil, happy days. So I don't think the club really expects to get 120 plus. So they'll expect to get 100 or very close to it, I think. So I think they're just kind of going in with a high kind of price early doors, you know.
But the problem is, if it are West Ham in a way pricing themselves out of a move for Dec, if no one does come in for him, because if no one comes in for him, then basically they only have to wait really 6 months, and they could try and get him in January because he's only got 12 months left on his contract.
Yes, I think there's always a danger of that, but I think what will prevent that from happening, I hope, I don't have a crystal ball here, but I think what will prevent that from happening, and that we'll see him go in the summer for a very large fee, is that Arsenal are not the only show in town. I think there will be interest from numerous clubs, and I think that means that those clubs that have that very real strong interest in him are going to want to get him tied down to a contract at their club. I don't think they're really going to want to risk leaving it till January. I think they're going to want to try and get this deal done if they can, and get him in. I mean, if they leave it till January, from our point of view, of course, we get less for him next January. But I think from the point of view of the clubs that are interested, they're thinking, okay, right now there's maybe 3 or 4 of us that are interested. We're competing with maybe 2 or 3 other clubs for his signature. If we wait till January, and we're talking about 60 million, 70 million quid, then there might be another 2 or 3 clubs that are suddenly in the mix who can afford that as well. And now we've got a kind of much bigger pool of teams that are kind of looking to see if they can grab him. Like Newcastle might be interested. We don't know as well. You know, Newcastle have got the money. If Newcastle come in, and Newcastle are in a position actually to come in and say 120, bang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can do that. There's 120, bang, we'll have him. And then all of a sudden, the other clubs are going, oh, crap. You know, how are we going to match that? So, you know, these clubs that want to sign him want to be careful. If they really want to sign him, they're going to have to make their move, I think, this summer, because next January will be even harder for them to sign him.
Yeah, I actually agree. The one thing I will say that I think could happen is I think a club's going to come in, let's say Chelsea, for instance, and offer a player plus cash. I think West Ham will get about 75 million and a player. I don't think no one's going to pay 100 million for him. I think what it is, a lot of the media that I'm seeing is absolutely disgusting, if I'm speaking honest truth, but a lot of the media on Sky and different outlets basically trying to downgrade his value. So he goes for 50, 60 million. I think that's embarrassing. And when I see other players going for 100 million, and I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, well, you're 100 million, and Declan's done this consistently for us for the last 3-4 years, if not longer than that. I think it's embarrassing, really. And he's definitely, is he an £100 million player? No player really, if you're looking at it from a football aspect, no player is worth £100 million. Like
if Enzo is, then he is
100%, right? So I look at him and I think he's worth 100 million to us because he's so valuable to us, right? I think he's worth £100 million. I think he's a world-class player. I think if he doesn't play for West Ham and he plays for, let's just say, Arsenal now, and he's in that midfield, he's a £100 million player. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It just, I can really do. I really can see a team coming in and going, right, what we'll do, we'll give you a player of some note. So, for instance, say Chelsea come in and said, right, we'll give you Conor Gallagher or let's have a think, someone, Broya or someone like that, and we'll give you sort of 75, 80 million for him. I think that's what they'll do. I think West Ham are going to be stamping their feet and saying for the 120, but 120 million he ain't going for. We all know it as fans. But I definitely think he's worth £100 million. And I look at Enzo, I think, what's he really done for Benfica? He's just won the World Cup. But, all right, fair enough, he's just won the World Cup. But Declan Rice was a finalist for England a year before that. So, in the Euros. So, you know, it is what it is. Right, I'm going to wrap that up there. Tommy, thank you very much for coming on, mate. I really do appreciate it.
Mate.
No worries at all. Please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Hit the notification bell to get updated what is going on E20 Zone TV. Check out my show I done last night with Charlie Walsh. Really good show. We discussed loads of different topics, a conversation, and really got into it last night with him. And it was a proper decent show last night. So yeah, go and check out the after hours that I done last night at 10:30, I think it was. It was a late one. I'll be back tomorrow, straight after the game. Will West Ham beat Brighton? I do hope so. Do you know what I'm saying? I am hoping so. And will Moyes stick with his 4-3-3? That is the main thing. Stick with 4-3-3, Moyes, and you go far in life. Anyway, enjoy your Friday wherever you are, and I'll see you again in the next one. Peace.
There it is. I've never found a love like this.